As Elizabeth mentioned, it's a big year for us. It's a big moment, I think, for us. I think it's a big moment for actually all of us here. It's as noted, our 10-year anniversary, and I'll touch on why that's so important in a moment. But I think the question that's framing this moment for so many people is, will this industry deliver? Will this industry deliver durable utility at scale for people around the world? That's the question I think we are determined to not just answer, but to solve. And I'm going to start by the founding mission of the company, which Elizabeth also mentioned, which is to raise global economic prosperity through the frictionless exchange of value. When we started Circle 10 years ago, we had this concept that it would become possible to create a protocol for dollars on the internet, that you'd be able to have a protocol that allowed value to basically move at zero marginal cost, the same way that data and information and communications could do the same, and that would become programmable, that people would be able to write smart contracts that then transformed how commerce and finance and other applications were built. That was 10 years ago when we founded the company. That was the vision that we had, and we thought that day would come. And in fact, as people who've been with the company either as investors or as employees and around it, I was very clear, this is a 10 to 20 year journey to execute the first set of ideas that we have as a company. And so right now, 10 years in, we are arriving. We are arriving at the first piece of what we hope to accomplish, which is to deliver this foundational infrastructure for dollars on the internet, to make it possible to store and move dollars and other digital fiat at the speed of the internet at virtually no cost, and to do that in a way which is programmable and composable. That was what we had hoped to accomplish, and we have arrived there today. But the vision that the company had 10 years ago, which we continue to carry on today, is a bigger vision than that. The idea of just ubiquitous, commoditized value movement was sort of a precursor, it was a precondition to a bigger set of things that were possible. And I think at the core, Circle was born out of the internet, out of the infrastructure of the internet. It was also born out of a belief that we need to build a safer and more inclusive global financial system, what I like to now call an internet financial system. It's possible to actually create a new basis for money, that we could have fully reserved digital currency money, not fractionally reserved bank money, that we could take that full reserve digital currency money and we could deploy it on open internet infrastructure, the same way that we've deployed data and information and communications on open internet infrastructure. And that through that process and through the programmability that came from being on that open infrastructure, that we could actually bring all of the building blocks of finance, capital markets, and so on onto the blockchain, that we could bring more and more of the contracts that are at the nexus of what corporations and commerce are. We could bring those things on-chain and actually build an economic system that's built natively from the ground up on a safer foundation on the internet. That's a bigger vision for where we're trying to head. But right now, as a company, we have a focus today, as I think about the strategy we're trying to execute today, which is how do we build the largest and most widely used stablecoin network in the world? And through building the largest and most widely used stablecoin network in the world, how can we give every person on every device in the world the ability to access and use digital dollars? That's an ambition that we have. We're going to hear more about that through our product strategy and the like very shortly. But the way we want to do that is by building an open network that is also a platform that developers and companies can build on. We think about this network as a platform that developers and companies can build on. And we think about USDC as a public open network for dollars on the internet that anyone can connect to and build on and use. That's the conceptual way to think about what we're doing and the goal of building the largest and most actively used stablecoin network in the world. Now, in the past few years, we've seen dramatic growth in the size and use of that network, from where we started with USDC 5 years ago to where we are today, $12 trillion in transactions on blockchains using USDC. The number of applications connected to the USDC protocol continues to grow every month. The number of developers that are working in this space continues to grow. And so I believe that we have decisively entered the utility value phase of blockchains and digital currency. I believe that we are in that phase now. And that in that phase, that utility value phase of blockchains and digital currency, that this will scale to billions of people and millions of businesses and trillions of dollars of economic activity in the coming years. I'm very confident about that, and I think that is what is happening. But I want to talk today about how that will happen. I want to talk about multiple pieces of that, and it starts with everyone in this room. Everyone in this room is going to make that happen. When I look around the room, and I know many of you, and many of you are new to working with us as well, this is a really amazing ecosystem. And people are always asking, like, what are the use cases? What is the utility? What is happening? Well, in the room here, we have leading payment companies, leading merchant settlement networks that are adopting this technology. We have many different P2P and B2B payment utility applications that are solving real pain points for people who move money around the world and in commerce. We have a whole bunch of different on-chain credit and lending systems that are pioneering lending and credit delivery on blockchains to support real economic value. We have many companies in here, both very large companies and startups, that are tokenizing real-world assets, treasury bills, digital funds, and other things, connecting investment and other assets into this infrastructure. We have global scale remittance networks. We have leading remittance companies from different regions of the world who are solving the hard problem of moving money to people who need it efficiently and fairly. We have digital wallet companies from every region in the world, from Africa, Latin America, Southeast Asia, who are building products to bring digital dollars into the hands of those people. Major consumer brands are in the room. Major internet platform companies are in the room. Super apps from emerging markets are in the room. Global humanitarian organizations who are at the forefront of using digital currency for the delivery of humanitarian aid are in the room. Major global banks who are connecting to and supporting this infrastructure in different ways are in the room. Investors who are backing thousands of talented teams and entrepreneurs from every corner of the world are in the room. There's capital markets infrastructure companies, including exchanges, trading firms, asset managers, custodians, firms who ensure that the global market infrastructure that supports this economic activity is always on and safe and globally available. We have blockchain infrastructure firms that are building core technology and the operating systems and operating environments that underlie the platforms and networks and applications that we're all building. Think tanks, academics, analysts, policymakers who are driving thought leadership and shaping policy for this new internet financial system are in the room. Global scale advisory firms that are working with some of the biggest and leading organizations in the world are here thinking about this and are in the room. This is the group of people. These are the problems we're solving. That's today. We are delivering on the utility value phase of digital currency today. So that's the who in how we're going to do this. Now I want to talk a little bit about the how in how we're going to do this. And it starts, for me, with technology. This is a technology-driven disruption. The internet is colliding with the global financial system. That's really exciting. The internet and open source software and open protocols are colliding with the global financial system. That hasn't happened before. It's been happening for roughly the past 10 years. It's really starting to accelerate now. This is a technology blockchain-driven change. And at the foundation of that is, as we all know, blockchain technology. And I want to just, for a moment, talk about that, which is that blockchains are internet infrastructure. So many people, when they hear about blockchains, they think it's a financial thing. It's not. These are protocols, network infrastructure, operating systems. This is infrastructure. It's not financial infrastructure, any more than HTTP is financial infrastructure, or the domain name system or the email system is financial infrastructure. We have network infrastructure. We have protocols that do a lot of things, and we build a lot of applications and services on those. Blockchains are network infrastructure. Law and policy needs to recognize this. That's critical, and many countries around the world are seeing that this is an internet infrastructure problem. And this particular infrastructure, blockchain internet infrastructure, solves problems that haven't been solved before on the internet. Tamper-resistant data, tamper-resistant and irreversible transactions, and tamper-resistant and fully observable compute that's globally available to anyone to connect to and use. That's a technology problem that's being solved that's very, very powerful. And those capabilities are providing really, really powerful building blocks for society and the economy. So that's the first part of the how, is this infrastructure. And the solutions in this space, and there are many of the projects that are involved in that, are in the room as well here. The solutions for global scale adoption are immediately in front of us. We're seeing this infrastructure layer flowering right now. We're seeing incredible improvements in layer 1 blockchains, in layer 2 blockchain networks, in the expansion of different types of chain architectures to support tens of thousands of transactions per second. We have some blockchains that have initiatives underway which will bring millions of transactions per second in the coming years. Even permissioned sidechains that are connected to these internet-based networks are coming into the fold. And so the infrastructure is flowering. And underneath that infrastructure is a proliferation in other infrastructure, the continued rapid improvement in compute, in memory, and what that means for things like zero-knowledge technology, which is part of how we continue to make this more mainstream scale. So we're solving the scalability, security, and efficiency problems. And in my opinion, having been in this industry for 10 years and been building internet infrastructure for almost 30 years, this has never been a better time to be building on this infrastructure than right now. So Circle, like a lot of the companies in this room, we're building on all of this. We're building on all of this. And for us, there's sort of 3 pillars to the Circle platform. And I'm going to give a little bit of a snapshot on that, and then our chief product officer and others are going to dive a little bit more into it. But the 3 pillars of the Circle platform are stablecoin infrastructure, stablecoin liquidity, and what we call Web3 services. So when we talk about stablecoin infrastructure, we're not actually talking about the actual asset, the token that you hold. We're talking about the stablecoin infrastructure, which are the protocols and the network infrastructure and the other things that make this work around the world. And the idea for us here with that infrastructure that we're building and deploying with a lot of velocity right now is to enable digital fiat to work seamlessly, safely, and efficiently on any device and in any application in the world. And a really critical focus of that for us, when you look at the things we're releasing, and we're going to be showing some great stuff today, is we're trying to abstract away blockchains, gas fees. We want the crypto technology, the crypto tech, to disappear. Users don't care. They don't want to know what a token, a gas fee is. They don't want to know what blockchain a user or an app is on. They don't care. We need to abstract that away. And so our stablecoin infrastructure protocols are designed to abstract these things away to make using applications on blockchains radically simpler, safer, and easier. So part of that is the omni-chain availability of our protocols, making sure that digital dollars and other digital fiat that we or our partners launch is available across an omni-chain environment. It's technologies like cross-chain transfer protocol, which allows digital dollars to be teleported safely across all of these networks without risk of hacks and thefts and reducing capital inefficiency. And critically, and something I'm going to be really excited to show you guys today, is abstracting away gas fees so that a user can pay to use an app, or a developer can pay to use an app without surfacing the complexity of this to users, and to make the seamless use of Web3 apps as well as the seamless use of stablecoins make the blockchain of it go into the background. And at the core for us, when you think about what we're doing, is our stablecoin infrastructure are developer platforms. These are protocols and infrastructure for developers to build on. So we have tons and tons of programs for people to build on these networks and protocols. The second key piece here is what we call stablecoin liquidity. This is the really heavily regulated part of what we do. This is sort of making the most widely and easily available digital dollar in the world. It's the market infrastructure of USDC. It's the reserve architecture. Not a lot of people know, but just so you all do, USDC reserves are held in a regulated SEC fund structure. 95% of the reserves are in the Circle Reserve Fund. If you search for USDXX on any search engine, you can see every single day the exact composition in the Circle Reserve Fund. There's no other digital dollar with that level of transparency, and the cash is held in the safest, lowest credit risk financial institutions in the world. But we're not stopping there. Stablecoin liquidity means liquidity around the world. We're rolling out a global network of banking partners in the US, Asia, Europe, the Middle East, Latin America, so that anywhere you bank, you can create and redeem USDC, ideally 24/7, so that there's digital dollar dial tone available around the world. We're making huge progress in scaling out the widest liquidity network in the world for stablecoins, both directly through these bank network partnerships, but also indirectly by partnering with companies, many who are in the room here as well, who can connect all of the different types of on and off ramps that exist around the world seamlessly from any currency and any on and off ramp into this stablecoin network. We're building a large liquidity network. And so we're forging partnerships. We're starting new regulated entities in Europe, in Asia, and very likely in other markets that make this market infrastructure work and be reliable, and you can be confident in it. The third pillar is Circle Web3 services. And really, our mission with this product line is we want to enable any developer, any enterprise, whether you're building a consumer app, a commerce app, a financial app, we want you to be able to easily build, deploy, and operate on-chain applications. We believe that there's a huge opportunity for existing companies, existing internet companies, existing businesses to build applications on-chain, and we're building an end-to-end cloud infrastructure to allow developers and companies to do this. And we're doing that through three pieces, and we're going to hear more about that in a moment. Programmable wallets, which is our wallet infrastructure as a service. Leading super apps like Grab, one of the largest super apps in the world, just deployed our programmable wallets into their super app. Thousands of developers, we've just introduced this into beta just in the last couple of months. Thousands of developers are already signed up and using this. We want to make it so that either developer-controlled or user-controlled custody wallets are seamless, smart account wallets that work across multiple chains are available. The second piece to this is something that we're announcing today and rolling out, I think today, which is our smart contract platform. So in addition to being able to easily build wallets into apps, the Circle Smart Contract Platform allows a developer to use smart contracts and to build with smart contracts without needing to learn how to write smart contract code, using familiar web programming languages and REST APIs, and to very easily, safely deploy, manage, and operate those smart contract apps across multiple blockchains. And so there's templates. There's a lot of really cool stuff. We're going to show you that very shortly. And then the third piece, which is also becoming available today as part of our Web3 services, is our gas station, which makes it so that a developer who builds an app can remove the complexity and the friction of gas fees from user applications, and to do that in a seamless way. And so it dramatically simplifies how people can interact with these apps. So the goal here is, how do we bring billions of people into this infrastructure? We got to make it easy for the people who build apps in commerce, in finance, and in consumer to do that, and do that on this whole multi-chain infrastructure so they can take advantage of digital dollars and Web3. So that's what we're doing today. I want to briefly touch on the next 10 years. I'm not going to say too much because I don't really know what's going to happen in the next 10 years. But I do want to come back to some of those core ideas that are behind the company. Full reserve money. We deeply believe in this idea that the financial system would be better off if the base layer of money was not fractionally reserved. That you have a full reserve money that represents the equivalent of a government obligation expressed in digital currency. If you have that, and the physics of money allows for money to move in internet speed and scale and security, that changes things. And in that world, we believe that through the adoption of smart contracts, through the adoption of the programmability of these underlying forms of money, that we're going to really see significant changes in the way in which financial intermediation happens, the way in which commerce is structured and happens. It will move into this on-chain infrastructure. We'll have a real on-chain digital economy. And we're very excited about this. And just to kind of give you a little bit of a tip in terms of some of the things that we're interested in here, today we launched something called Circle Research. And there's a stand outside. You can meet with some of the team. Circle Research represents R&D that we're doing in areas that we think are critical to the future of the internet financial system. And today, we released our first open source project, which is a new protocol called Perimeter Protocol. And Perimeter Protocol is an on-chain credit intermediation protocol. We're releasing that as open source. We're not deploying it as a mainnet protocol ourselves. The white paper is available. I highly encourage you to read it. Perimeter Protocol is trying to solve the problem of how do we make it easier for credit using stablecoins to be intermediated in many, many different types of forms and functions. And so we believe that on-chain credit will go alongside the payment utility of money. There's credit utility of money. And we believe that's going to be a very, very significant part of what people are building in the coming years. So is the world ready? My view, there's a lot of talk about policy and regulatory clarity and what's going to happen with government rules and all of this. What matters is what builders and doers do, because builders and doers lead the world, not policymakers. What we all collectively build will define the art of the possible for society. And that is actually what will shape policy. And that's exactly where we find ourselves here today. There's been 5 to 10 years of building and doing by tens of thousands of companies and people all around the world. And we find ourselves here today with this technology, with what we've just talked about, because of people building and doing. And as a result of that hard work, Web3 digital assets are now a major national priority around the world. It's because of what we've built, not because we're waiting for policy. And so it's through open innovation that the world has established this. Stablecoins are a tremendous example of that today. We built, we innovated, stablecoins are here, they've arrived, and now around the world, regulatory clarity has arrived to support the acknowledgement of this innovation that is here. So whether it's in Japan or Singapore or the EU or Hong Kong or UAE and major congressional work that's happening here in the United States, stablecoins are becoming part of the core global financial system. And as of 2024, I believe we will be able to say that is the year that stablecoins became a new form of money in the world economy. They're also becoming the foundation of the internet financial system. So there's the global financial system that we've thought of in the past, and there's this new internet financial system that we're building, and we're just at the start of that. And so that was our first 10 years, and now when I think about the next 10 years, we're going beyond that 1.0 into 2.0, and that's, I believe, where we're all really going to shine. We're going to see a world of safe, secure, and fully reserved programmable money, composable on the public internet, global, interoperable, and connected to every person and every device in the world. Let's do this and build this for the next 10 years together. Thank you.